And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, to the perfect 2016 World Team Table Tennis Championships in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. I'm Adam Bobrow with Don Parker. Don, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking that this is now going to be a mountain to climb for Japan. Having said that, how can it be any tougher than playing against Marlon, Shushin, and now the Olympic champion steps up to the table, two-time world champion, Jike. But I'm sure OSHIMA will be out there doing his best. He's won all his games bar one. He lost in the semi-final to Sam Walker from England. Sam ranked at 1-5-7, I think, but quite clearly playing way above that level. So against ZHANG, he's nothing to lose. OSHIMA, he's playing a player ranked above him, the Olympic champion. Hopefully he can relax, go for his shots, nothing to lose, and hopefully get a game, even a match, under the belt of the Japanese team.
Right, sometimes being the underdog by that much does give you a sense of freedom. The pressure is really on ZHANG to win this match. As far as expectations, I mean, you heard what Ma Long said. He said, I believe, maybe he said we believe, but he said believe that ZHANG will not disappoint us. But that's not the pressure that Yuya OSHIMA is facing. No one's expecting him to win this match. So we'll see if he can come out here, like you said, pull some magic out of the hat. ZHANG now starting with the serve. Lucky break off the top of the net, but OSHIMA showed us that he's comfortable taking the fast backhand over the table, blocking it back into play. Now, if anyone seems beatable out of these three players by a foreigner, ZHANG has lost to more foreigners than any of the players on the team right now. Any of the three men at the table, for China, that is. Between ZHANG Eugene twice at the Asian Championships, although he got his revenge yesterday. Stefan Fagel at the Polish Open at the end of last year. ZHANG collected a few losses that he probably wish he hadn't had. Soft, spinny, well-calculated shot from OSHIMA. That's one of my favorite shots in the game, Don. The players wait for the ball right at the back of the table and sort of keep their racket open just to make sure they don't hit the table and guide the ball back up and low to the net. Little break off the back edge. 2 apologies so far from ZHANG.
But interesting there with ZHANG, content to block the ball back or even tried it. Using the elbow, a little bit of extra risk, putting OSHIMA under a little bit more pressure. This time it was heavy top spin from OSHIMA that wins the point, the backhand to backhand exchange. Good positive play from the 21-year-old from Japan. Lovely backhand straight down the line. 4 from the Olympic champion, took it early.
Heavy underspin on that serve.
Oh, sorry, Adam. I was just going to what you were saying about ZHANG. It's interesting. We had another great player, Yano Devalda, but he could lose. He lost to a lot of players, considering he was Olympic champion and world champion. And yet you have players like Marlon, who very rarely lose. So I think some players, the form is more up and down, but when it's up, wow, is it up? Balder, when his form was up, was the best. I think ZHANG, when his form's up, he can beat anybody in the world, but his form can drop. And so you've always, I think, of the Chinese players, if someone's going to drop a game or a match, then it's more likely to be ZHANG than the other 2 who are playing today.
Absolutely agree. And I think that's the conversation. A lot of people like to have this argument online about who the greatest player ever is or who's better, Ma Long, ZHANG. And I think a lot of people who believe that it's ZHANG even though Ma Long has a winning record, just look at the motivation factor and what prize is on the line. While Zhang Jike's had a tough last year or so, a lot of people believe he will come back and prove himself.
5-4.
Fighting back injuries in Germany on the first day of training, had to go to the doctor, get a shot in the back to be able to play the tournament. I mean, it sounded worse than most. Sometimes people just take a rest. This was he got an injection so that he could bear the pain. Excellent pace. OSHIMA, if he's close enough to the table, shows that he's got the power to really move Zhang Jike around. He's even won points in the backhand-to-backhand battle. Japanese staff, Masataka Morizona there with the long hair in the back. Doubles partner. World Tour Grand Finals doubles champions.
Just going back to the debate there, it's interesting. Ma Long has 24 World Tour titles to his name. How many of those would he swap for the Olympic title? Zhang Jike has got the Olympics and the Worlds. Ma Long's now got the Worlds, and he's got a bag full of the World Tour titles, but he hasn't yet got the Olympics. 6 months' time in Rio, that may be completely different.
I think that might be what motivated him to really just put his head down and focus so hard for 2015. You know, he might really just be trying to come into this. Can you imagine having the career of Ma Long and not taking the Olympics this year? It'd just be a tragedy for him. But right here, we've got quite a close match. Game one was just at 6-6 as Zhang Jike steps into the lead by one. Shot seemed a little bit flat. This is again a quality shot from OSHIMA. I think the lower the ball comes in, the more you really need to keep your spin on it.
I think what OSHIMA's done well is he's varied the spin he's put on with his backhand. Sometimes he's gone low spinny, sometimes he's gone high no spin. Zhang Jike is constantly having to change the angle of his racket, and he's made a few mistakes. Not that time. Step round well, strong forehand, top spin.
Yeah, the trajectory of his shots right now, from that angle especially, you could see Zhang Jike, how much pace is really on the ball, what it's like to be playing out there. And of course you can't feel it from that angle to see it the way it travels. I mean, I've talked about it before. These are the guys that if you ever need to hitch a ride from a table tennis player. Their reaction time, their spatial awareness, both just incredible. Think they stopped for the noise in the crowd?
7-8.
Quite possible.
I think they did, yeah.
You're right, he's very into spin. That shot arced up just a little bit more, but still deep enough on the table, and Zhang Jike really couldn't time it properly. Well, we might be looking at the Can Japan Win a Game challenge here, Don. It's getting close.
It's the most points a Japanese player's had so far.
This reminds me of Kasumi Ishikawa's lead. She was up 2-0 against Li Xiaosha when she had this score. I think this is when the, oh no, it was 9-9 when the edge ball came for Li Xiaosha. Very faint edge at 9-9. Changes up the timing, the pace, and the placement right into the middle. Look at that focus and determination from OSHIMA. He's got 2 game points here now.
I wasn't sure that I was going to say it, but it's 2 game points to Japan. I'd love to see him convert one of these 2. See what Zhang Jike can do under a bit of pressure. Probably bring the best out of him.
Little break off the top of the net. Still OSHIMA there focused, going for the inside-out counterattack. Players warned not to stall. Understandable at a time like this, you want to really think about your serve. game one, the challenge has been broken and met. Yuya Oshima takes the lead 1-0 over ZHANG. Still a tough battle ahead. We'll be back for game two right after this. And as the players come back for game two, wouldn't you know it, it's ZHANG who's down. After getting 9 points to Yuya Oshima's 11, Oshima has the lead and the serve. Well, the ZHANG backhand, one of the best in the world, although we saw in a few backhand-to-backhand rallies that Oshima's up to the task. Very strong backhand as well. The difference in age, Yuya Oshima 21 years old, ZHANG 28. I feel like there are some similarities in style as far as the way they would leap around. A few years ago when ZHANG had a little less back pain. They both are comfortable taking shots in the air on the run, both sides. Excellent counter from ZHANG. That ball was wide off the side of the table. See this one more time here. All the spin and also speed that Oshima really generated with that last ball was right at the back of the table. He read the spin well. Just not enough to get the next ball back.
Certainly looking to be a bit more aggressive. ZHANG stepping around his backhand there, very active, playing strong forehand topspin. 3-1 lead for China. Japan now with their 2 serves.
Left, 1-3.
Long fast push from OSHIMA, deep into the backhand of ZHANG. Again, wrist underneath the ball, heavy spin. ZHANG failing to lift, 3-2 in favour of ZHANG.
The backhand's been so effective from the middle of the table, from the backhand to the backhand rally. Watching in the let service 2 points ago when Oshima left the ball on the table for 2 bounces, it just reminded me how important it is to be able to really control the space over the table. When you step inside the table, to be able to be very specific with your placement and still get back for the rally. Beautiful read. Oshima looked like he was starting to step in, but not overcommitting, and was able to get back for the long, deep serve into the body. Like how he changed up his stroke to cover the body. See short stroke there just in case he needs to make it back for the forehand side. ZHANG's backhand when it's on. Top of the game. Got an interesting question here from Twitter. This is from Mariana Rolikova. The question is, why do you think Fan Zhendong, number 2 in the world, is not playing in the finals?
Good question. Best person to answer that would be Yuya. He could tell us first time. What I think is that Fan Zhendong is the youngster. He's played 5 matches, he's won 5 matches. Yuya will trust Zhang Jike, because during his captaincy he's won 2 world titles in the Olympic Games. Plays well on the big occasion. I suspect if Zhang Jike here is unsuccessful, we may see in Yuya Liang's mind a swap from Zhang Jike to Fan Zhendong.
Right, I think it's sort of a chance. It's not necessarily, it's partially seniority and what he's earned, but he's at least earned a chance to prove himself. Being the Olympic gold medalist, also this could be his way out. I mean, who knows if he'll have another chance. It seems unlikely he'll be able to play in 2020. But Fan Zhendong has his whole career ahead of him, and experience. It's something that we've seen, you know, Fan Zhendong in the Chinese Super League being 35-1, beating Ma Long 3 times, but not being able to beat Ma Long once on the World Tour. This is a sign of potentially lack of experience, or maybe the nerves or end game playing on the big stage. Zhang Jike, we know, has that, even if it's been inconsistent at times.
Player, please play.
And the miss hit off the top edge of the racket, but the recovery ball absolutely hushed the crowd as OSHIMA ran that down, floated it back on. See this again here. The backhand's so difficult to read. Beautiful angle from Zhang Jike to set that up.
OSHIMA with his 2 serves and his 2 points adrift. Spinny backhand return of serve from Zhang Jike. Again, that wristy backhand brushing up the back of the ball.
9-5.
Fast accelerating.
And it could be where he is on the court and on the camera, but it looked like OSHIMA is just a little bit farther back than he wants to be in that rally. From a step off, he's still been threatening, but 2 steps off seems to be a little bit too much to ask with Zhang Jike on the other side. Zhang Jike a little bit late to get in for that attack over the table. Sounded like a miss hit. We saw a little apology there, but it's 4 game points for Zhang Jike to even up the scores. Excellent misdirection, soft flip over the table into the backhand. Saw Zhang Jike gearing up, getting ready to counter on the forehand side. That's not a bad receive either. I mean, it's lukewarm, but a very difficult ball to play so well from over the table from OSHIMA.
OSHIMA did well, he held his ground, took the ball early, put Zhang Jike under a little bit of pressure. So that's 2 game points saved, 2 more remain. But Zhang Jike has the advantage of service, and indeed a timeout called by Yuya. 10-6. OSHIMA wins 2 points, a little bit of momentum, shifting in favour of Japan. Yuya again appreciates the significance here. Zhang Jike goes 2-0 down. It's going to be really tough. So he wants to consolidate and make sure we win this second game. Especially now Zhang Jike has the service They can talk about the serve, what he's going to do behind the serve.
Yeah, that's all true, Don. I think as far as the confidence here goes, looking at the odds, Japan versus China, the last time Japan... Oh, well, this is a question from Twitter from Ivan Nueva. Question is, Japan's last finals appearance was 1977. Who is the opponent of Japan in the semis and finals, and did they win? Well, in the finals it was China, and Japan did not win. 5 times they played in the team final, Japan, and all went to China. And there we go, Zhang right out of the timeout, takes the game and saves it, 11 points to 8. So we're tied up in games. The pressure continues to build, and one player is going to take a lead in game 3. You don't want to miss it. Stay right here. Back from the timeout, the crowd getting wild here. Starting off game 3, I guess it's not the timeout, it just felt like one. 1 minute to talk, and ZHANG starting strong to please the crowd. Again, the sponsor perfect, bringing in some employees here to enjoy the matches. You can see the red and white shirts for the fans, just loving the opportunity to see the Chinese national team play here.
Way down the line there. It is the shorter target area. A little bit more difficult. The ball caught the top of the net, flips off the end of the table. 1 point apiece. Took the backhand very early there, Jike. Brushed the ball, didn't go for pace, didn't go for speed. But a lot of the ball fizzing with top spin.
Felt like he got there with good time. OSHIMA had an excellent opening forehand attack, but at least to counter it. You can tell when he's a little bit out of reach and sort of chasing the ball, but that time it was a clean shot. Soft hands, keeps it short and low. Just dodging the attack from over the table of Zhang. There's a question here from Twitter, Ryan Ng. The question is Yuya OSHIMA the new Timo Boll in terms of a threat to the Chinese dominance? I think that's an interesting question we can take here in a moment. I think there are a handful of players right now that the Chinese national team is studying after they've had some success. Yuya OSHIMA, Maharu Yoshimura, Anton Schellberg. Players here and there that have taken out Yanan or a few others.
You know, I think that if we think back 24 hours, OSHIMA was playing the number 159 in the world, Sam Walker, and he lost. So I agree, he's a great player and he's putting up a great performance now, but there's a whole host of players. Sam Walker could be a threat, he's only 20, took out OSHIMA pretty comfortably yesterday in the semi-final of the World Team Championship. Liam Pitchford has an amazing game. Golsey from France has had a great tournament as well. All the young Polish players. I think there's a whole host of young players. Can any of them come through to take on the Chinese? very difficult. Let's hope they do.
Yeah, and as far Timo Boll status is quite a tough status to reach, but there are definitely a lot of young great players, as you said. Very deep on the table. Couldn't tell if it caught the edge. The sound was a little different. The change of pace caused a little bit of trouble. Again, some of those high balls to the backhand side, it's always awkward. Yeah, it's really tough to get up and over that. I think Grogan Persson being able to swat that with the jumping backhand. You don't see too many others handling that shot well on the backhand side. Clever idea, working hard to get in and get the forehand. Luke tries to play the short side of the table. This is a player who's not afraid to hit a risky shot and understands it. I think if he waits any longer and tries to go inside out, he's just going to be out of position and leave time for ZHANG to counter it back with his backhand. So the decision making still very strong, I think, from OSHIMA, taking the right shots.
I just think when you let the ball drop, then you can't quite get the same amount of speed. If it's dropped below net height, certainly table height, inevitably the mathematics are you have to lift the ball to get it over the net. You can't get the same pace. So if OSHIMA can get the ball when it's top of the bounce, or certainly when it's higher than the net, you can play with a little bit more pace. When the ball drops, you should spin the ball, keep it deep. Vary the spin, yes, but try and put good spinny balls deep. That's exactly what he did there. He spun it up, he put it on the baseline, he takes the point.
And I completely agree with you about the timing of the shot and what's the highest percentage, most threatening. It might be interesting to see if Yuya OSHIMA varies it up from time to time so that it's not always at the early aggressive attack. Obviously, ZHANG playing at the highest levels, used to the high-pace game, the over-the-table play.
Lovely touch from Jike. Soft hands. It's incredible. It's the most delicate shot in the game, but it's still positive because it's cancelling out the advantage of the service.
Here's an interesting stat. 15 million people in China right now are watching. 1% of the population watching right now live. And if this stadium is any indicator, I mean, it feels like you can imagine what it's like in the households of the families and the fans watching. Timeout called now. OSHIMA quick to get back.
Jike has just won 2 points. I don't think really there's been any major momentum shifts in this third game. Probably the biggest run of points has been 2. It's been going 1 point, 1 point, 2, 2. So I guess tactically here, the Japanese coach must feel he can help OSHIMA. And the fact that Jike has just won 2 points, let's just kill the momentum as soon as we can. Next point crucial.
It's easier said than done, but I think anything OSHIMA can do to sort of mislead with body, any misdirection can be to his advantage. As muscular as ZHANG is, he's a little tight, and he's playing through some injuries, but regardless, it's still tougher to make a shot if you don't know where it's coming. Get there a little bit later, don't have the time to set up. Even if ZHANG makes the shot, it's usually going to be a lower quality ball coming back. Looked like more topspin than was on it. This is the deception factor. ZHANG taking that right in near the body. Subtle contact. Pulls up, but not completely.
2 serves now for OSHIMA. He has to capitalise on the advantage of the serve.
6.
Obviously keeping the ball very tight.
6-8.
Low over the net. Should be aiming for second bounce on the white line as well. Backhand to backhand, a rapid exchange. And again, Jike just relaxing the arm, elbow, wrist, flexing his elbow and wrist as he comes back to the table. So, second serve in this sequence of 2. I would suggest this is a must-win point for OSHIMA. Let's
6-9.
highlights the importance of keeping that ball tight over the net.
As much power as he gave, it came right back and wide. That is a quality redirection of the ball from Jike. OSHIMA really timed that just right. It's a wide shot. Look how right at the baseline of the table, maybe not quite wide enough. Jike just trying to loosen up his wrist after that. Now we've got 4 game points for Jike to take the lead. And there it is, 11-6, a quick escape. Jike goes up 2 games to 1. This could be the last game of this tournament, Don. You don't want to miss it. Game 4 right after this.
Fourth game, OSHIMA to serve, love all.
And we're back for game 4. Yuya OSHIMA now with the serve, down 1 game to 2. And both a few steps off the table, the counter looping rally. These are the rallies we love, Don.
Amazing play. Japanese players, very strong top spinning from a metre and a half away from the table, but of course they're up against the masters in China. Super point.
That slow motion shot right there looked like an air gun. It blasted Yuya OSHIMA.
1-all.
Swarm of bees even. One thing about Jike, from off the table, he still has enough power to finish most people. A few steps behind doesn't seem to be a problem from either side. Just forces him to cover more ground, but the timing there on the soft block, didn't read the spin right as it sneaks under the racket. Unlike the other 2 matches so far, if OSHIMA wins this game, he's 1 game away from winning the match.
Interesting that China haven't yet. Obviously they've not lost a match. They've never dropped 2 games in a match. Every win has either been 3-0, 3-1. So if OSHIMA can win this, he's actually done better than anybody else by taking a game to a 5th and final, or taking a match, I should say, to a 5th and final.
2-3.
But he'll certainly have to keep with Jike. Can't afford to give him too many points advantage. Another thing he can't afford to do, he can't afford to serve off. It was, in a sense, it was a brave serve, the long, fast serve, looking to go deep into the backhand.
3-4.
The effort pays off here on both sides. OSHIMA well equipped. Still, Jike, I think it might be partially just whether it's fatigue. The lower body is really going to have to be moving all the time to make sure he's set up as OSHIMA changes the pace, changes the trajectory. Sometimes it seems almost like Jike is a little bit flat-footed when the ball's coming his way. A rare occasion, though, that we see that. To catch a let service. Pretty bold. I think the core strength and the leg strength here gets Yuya OSHIMA in quickly for this. It's one of the things that makes him such a strong doubles player is how physically fit he is and how well he covers not only over the table, but a step or two behind.
Super forehand topspin straight down the line from Jike. He needed that point, he just lost a couple. Back to back. It's now OSHIMA with his 2 serves to come.
Oh, it stays on his side of the table. Is that the second one this game?
You can't really afford one against the Chinese. To do 2.
Again, it's just the pressure to keep your serve so low to the net and so precise. Those strokes are so short from OSHIMA. He really kept the racket head up and just snapped at the wrist, getting over the top of it. One way to make sure he stays in the rally. Again, the adaptability of the player. It's not survival of the fittest, but survival of he who's most able to adapt. And OSHIMA does adapt his game to the player on the other side quite well.
Left. 5-4. Left. 5-4.
Good play there from Jike, just moving the ball around in OSHIMA's backhand. Again, the wrist putting a fair bit of topspin on the ball. We see that again. Wide to the backhand, winning the point. Second serve coming up. Serve slightly long. OSHIMA very quick to pounce on the opportunity. He read the length of the serve really well there. Committed himself to a strong topspin. Good use of the wrist on the backhand return. And the Chinese crowd can sense victory. Still 6 points each.
Becoming more and more consistent with that step behind the table counter loop from both sides. Jike seems so comfortable. His game often seems effortless, those strokes. The backhands, if you're watching just the wrist, it's moving really fast, but the rest of his body is like a statue out there. All working together, timed just right. He's lucky he got away after the serve. I mean, Jike just flattened through it, and miraculously, OSHIMA was able to bring it back into a rally.
He mishit that. Can you see how high it was on the replay? And
7-4.
Jike then topspin right back onto the bat of OSHIMA, allowed him to get away with that poor serve.
Look at the strength it takes from those legs. OSHIMA had his feet spread so far apart to get low enough to loop that ball and was right back up into position. Tied here at 7 points each. Too much power. We got vocalization. Jike coming back under pressure.
First time I saw him win his big title, rip the shirt off. This is the team title, not quite the same as the individual, maybe means more to him. Interesting to see his reaction, should he win this 4th game and the title for China.
That's right, he is the decider. Potentially, anyway, in the 3rd spot.
15 million people in China watching on TV will now be on the edge of their seats.
He's torn his shirt, he's kicked the barrier, he's kissed the #1 spot on the podium.
He did that in London.
That receive was just so soft. One touch to have that much power and that much touch. We've got a gentle giant out here who's just earned himself 3 World Championship points. You think he's going to jump on the table?
What can he do different?
Kick the table. And there it is, we have our champions. Jike proves himself 3 games to 1 over Yuya OSHIMA. The 28-year-old is world champion once again, 2-time men's singles champion, and his 3rd time as the world team champion. China dominant in both the men's and women's side, only dropping 1 game in the men's, and it was to Yuya OSHIMA, but Jike has proved himself, and we'll see, he might make a real case for himself at the Olympics, but he's at least earned himself some time to rest with gold and a title. Don, an outstanding performance from the 28-year-old legend, still active.
Yeah, outstanding performance. Lost the first game 11-9, a little bit of pressure maybe, held his nerve, mentally tough. They're all mentally tough, the Chinese players, and came back and won the next 3 games. So a convincing victory for China. Well done to Japan. They gave it their best shot. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite good enough on the night.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I know on the women's side of the game, the women seem to be coming up and up. While 2016 Olympics is on the way, I think there's a lot of speculation about the 2020 Tokyo Olympics if the Japanese young women will be up to task. On the Japanese men's side, we'll see. 2 young ones